Once again, it is time for our ETSU Player of the Week, and this week it is quarterback Tyler Riddell. Tyler, thank you so much for taking some time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about this last game. You all had a fantastic game, a big win in front of a huge crowd here at ETSU.
Yeah, the crowd was great. Definitely was a big win. Felt like we could have done some stuff to make the win a little bit easier on us. You saw I turned the ball over one time. Can't let that happen.
All right, but you got a win against Wofford. First time that y'all have beaten Wofford since football came back, and first time in like 8,365 days, I was told. So it's good to get that off your back and get that win against Wofford.
Yeah, it was definitely good. What a lot of people don't know is that I was actually committed to Wofford at one point.
Wow.
So I'm sure they weren't too happy to see me, but I was happy to beat them.
And you looked great during the game. You threw for over 260-some yards. Yeah, it was just a great game, and you had the running game going. How important is it? You know, you were talking inside there about throwing the ball to open up the running game. You've got two great running backs behind you. How does that make your life a lot easier?
Makes me a lot easier because a lot of times in key situations it may be a third down, but we could still turn around and hand it off. And with how good our run game is, it'll just bring the defense down, easier for us to get over top of them.
And you were talking about from the time you got here and you did your red shirt year and everything, you've matured a lot since you've been here at ETSU, haven't you?
Yes, I have. On the field and outside, just growing up as a person, handling my business the way it needs to be. You know, I'm basically a grown-up now on my own. So.
And you were talking about, you know, you were committed, you thought about going to Wofford and everything. What brought you? What was attractive about being at ETSU?
There was like a lot more just support and excitement, I felt like, about the program here. I had people reaching out to me on Twitter and all sorts of things like that. And then when I got here for the visit, it just felt better. I felt better about being here.
Very good. Let's step off the football field for a second. Go over to the classroom. What are you majoring in? What are your future plans?
My major is basically 2-in-1. It's called interdisciplinary studies. So I have sports management and marketing combined. Sports, you know, I just love to be able to do something after college that involves sports. And marketing, I feel like I could sell a product pretty well. So that's why I combined those two.
All right, very good. When you look at your game, when you look at you're playing football, what is the strong part of your game? What, in your mind, what is the strongest part of your game?
I feel like I'm just relaxed. I'm right here all game. I'm never up here. I'm never down here.
You think that's a good attribute for a quarterback?
I do. I do. I mean, it's good to be excited, and it's also good to know I messed that up and can't let it happen again, but not to get down on yourself and not to get overly excited.
Let's look down the road. You got Citadel coming in here. They won a big game against VMI last week. They're coming in on a win. They're undefeated in the conference. This would be a big win for them, but it would be an even bigger win for you all, wouldn't it?
It would. They're a physical team, and like you said, big win. So we know they're going to come in here excited, ready to play, but we just got to be ready to handle business.
All right. Tyler, we appreciate it, man. Tyler Riddell, our ETSU Player of the Week. You want to give us a little Go Bucks?
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. It is our ETSU Player of the Week.